Welcome to the Blessed Channel, a peaceful space where meditation and true stories of blessings come together. A space to pause, breathe, and receive. Here on the Blessed Channel, we share real stories of healing, hope, celebration, and inner transformation, all through the power of meditation, presence, and connection. This is more than a channel. It's a sanctuary of stories where every day people open their hearts to share how divine blessings have shaped their lives in subtle, powerful, and often unexpected ways. Whether you're on a spiritual path, seeking peace, or simply curious about the beauty of meditation, you're welcome here. Come be part of this global circle of light. You're not alone, you're deeply blessed. My name is Pooja and I'm based in New York. Professionally, I've been working as a litigation paralegal for over 18 years. But beyond the legal world, my heart is deeply rooted in service, stillness, and spiritual connection. For over 15 years, I've been a dedicated member of the Art of Living Foundation. As a certified teacher, I've had the privilege of sharing powerful tools for inner transformation through the Art of Living Part 1 basic course, Sat Samadhi Meditation, and Shri Shri Yoga. These practices have been profound blessings in my own life, guiding me toward greater peace, joy, and self-discovery. And it's now my greatest joy to share those same blessings with others through this channel. I'm also a proud and grateful mother to a 24-year-old, very handsome, independent, and incredibly intelligent son. He continues to inspire me every day. It is truly an honor to welcome our special guest today, someone whose story and presence is a blessing in itself. So take a moment to pause, breathe, and receive as we step into another heartfelt journey here on the Blessed Channel. It is my pleasure to be here today representing the Blessed Channel, joined by the inspiring Gerlinde Vassen, who comes to us all the way from Cape Town, South Africa. She brings a rich and diverse background as a self-developer, web developer, but her true essence lies in her role as a digital communicator, yogi, and a global citizen. Having lived across Europe before settling in South Africa, she embodies a spirit of connection and transformation. She's a model communicator, a passionate connector, someone deeply committed to making the world a better place. For nearly 2 decades, she has been a dynamic teacher with the Art of Living Foundation, sharing her wisdom through countless programs. She also serves as a Shri Shri Yoga coordinator for South Africa, guiding many on the path of inner peace and holistic well-being. It's my absolute pleasure and honor to be here with you today. How are you?
Thank you, Pooja. The pleasure is all mine. It's so wonderful to be here and to be part of this incredible initiative to spread the joy and to spread the blessings. Thank
So
you.
let's start. You're welcome. Let's start the conversation by asking, what does blessings means to you?
You know, honestly, to me, blessing is being grateful. It's a blessing to be grateful, and the more grateful you are, the more blessings come into your life.
Absolutely.
And I've really, really experienced this over the last, like you say, it's amazing to think about. It's 2 decades, it's 20 years. Yeah.
Oh, that's really wonderful. So, with your lively connections with so many people over the years, can you share like a couple of stories that you have experienced or heard from others that made a difference like in people's lives or brought transformation?
You know, I think this is the beauty about all Art of Living courses, that they're so deeply transformational. It doesn't matter what walk of life you come from, where you come from, what your background is. They all inspire growth and connection to yourself and to the people around us. And it's also needed in the world right now. Like we just finished a course yesterday afternoon, and it really touched me when one of the participants said that they feel like their hope in humanity has been restored. You know, sometimes we feel so lonely in the world. We feel like things are going wrong on all corners. To be reconnected with yourself and people just like you, that's such a gift. It's a blessing.
It is a blessing, absolutely. I can relate with that very much. When I did my first Art of Living course, I felt the same way, big transformation from where I was and where I am now. So, wow. So tell us your professional journey and how it might have, evolved into a space of putting people first as your passion.
I work with computers. So, so having a hobby that
Mhm.
involves being with people obviously brings an enormous amount of balance to me. But I think, it is deeply innate to us to want to care and to want to be there for people. And I think as a mother, you can probably relate to that quite strongly. That is why we have families, why we spend time with people who are near and dear to us.
Mhm.
But when you can realize that actually this whole world belongs to me, then that sense of connection just keeps growing, you know? And then for me, that experience, like you said on that first Art of Living course, it didn't just stay isolated in that space. It kind of spread everywhere. And it kind of forms the basis of all the relationships that I have, professional and personal. Um,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. It's actually true because, the first thing that we teach in Art of Living courses is I belong to you. It starts with that. So
And
belonging,
people find that so strange initially to hear that
yeah,
sentence. But by the end of the course, 3 days, 6 days later, they understand what belongingness means from the heart.
I think it's the breathing techniques that we teach, and we learn. I think it's from them. When you do those breathing techniques, you actually connect with yourself because there's so much of things that's like covers that self.
Mm.
That's when you feel belonging, I think, right? Do you agree with that?
Very much so. Yeah. I mean, it comes down to the practice. Because
Yes.
from my and head knowledge, I mean, in terms of we've all read so many wonderful books and we've listened to so many inspirational speakers, but we are not able to implement it. It's
Mhm.
only through the techniques and the practice that it just becomes a reality in your life and becomes easy. It's not hard work, it just happens.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. How did you come into Art of Living?
Pretty much like most people, I think, I just kind of ended up on a happiness program. And for me, it was immediately as if it was the answer to everything that I've been looking for, which I didn't even know I was looking for. I mean, I was really young. I think, about 24.
Oh,
And I thought I was happy, but I had no idea that there was a whole other aspect to life. Yeah. And it would lead me down a path of sharing and serving and discovering and connecting. And yeah, I'm very, very grateful for that.
yeah.
Definitely, I think wasn't an accident that I ended up there.
Is somebody like referred or you just read a
I
flyer?
actually, I mean, you had a conversation already with my husband Mukesh, and it was through him. Before we were in any way in a relationship, we were friends at that time, and they'd already done the course. Him and his family, they did the first Art of Living course in Cape Town in 1998.
Okay.
And when I met them, I thought I'd never met people that smiled that much in my whole life. So there was something intriguing. I wasn't convinced that I needed to learn how to breathe because, I've been
Right.
breathing all my life.
Yeah.
But there was something about them, and I had to check it out. And that was really it.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah.
I was lucky that very shortly after that, we had a wonderful advanced course teacher come from Europe. So I
Oh,
went almost straight from my happiness
start.
program into an advanced course, and that just kind of got the ball rolling, so to say.
Very nice. Oh, nice.
Mm.
I mean, that too at 24. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely grace and blessing.
Mm.
Can you share an experience in which, you met the founder, Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, and how like, you were inspired by him, or any stories that you want to share?
There's so many. I think we're so lucky to have this opportunity to actually meet him in person.
That's
You
very true.
know, I remember the first time he came to Cape Town. I think it was 2006. Yes. Yeah. 2002. We had a we
Mhm.
had a meeting. We arranged a meeting, an event for him at a church. And when I saw him for the first time, there was such a, everything he does with such grace and such effortlessness. There's
Mhm.
such a childlike innocence, a joy in everything he does. And when you watch him speak to heads of state and
Mhm.
the homeless person on the sidewalk, there is no difference. And I really felt that, through the course, through the practices, that is what he's come for, to kindle these values in us, to be childlike, to be ourselves, to be natural, to be able to be at ease with anybody. And at the same time, be very real in this world. I find often now you meet people and they say that, in order to be peaceful, you have to live somewhere on a tropical island or in a cave and meditate all day. But that's not what it's about. It's to be able to live in this world, fully engage, be dynamic, do your job, take care of your family, and yet be unaffected by what is happening. And to me, he truly just embodies that. We took him for a drive around. Cape Town has a very beautiful coastline, and it goes down to the tip of Africa
Mhm.
where the Atlantic and the Indian Ocean meet. And as we're driving with him in the car, we're telling him that, this is where the two oceans meet. And he just looked at all of us with this one face of wonder, and he said, "But there's only one ocean." And
Oh,
it's truly this everything is connected. We are all connected, and we drove down there. Long story short, and he served us food, and he made sure that there wasn't a single person that didn't get an opportunity to speak to him.
yeah. I've heard that from him. He says,
Mm.
even though you feel that I didn't look at you or, I didn't smile at you, but I am looking at you. I make sure, that I look at
100%.
every person.
And
So that's,
if I think now that 20 years, we go out of our way to meet him at least once a year. Most of the time, that involves us traveling to India. But when you see him, this is 20 years later, wherever you meet him, he still does the same thing. 100% attention, makes time for everybody, makes sure everybody leaves happy. And
it's a blessing.
how blessed can we be?
Very grateful. Very grateful. Yeah. So how have these practices, I see you a lovely smile on your face, the energy is just for life, inner and outer beauty shines through. Is this the practices, what's the secret of your beauty, your
I
smile?
think it's the combination of the practice and the knowledge. Like I just said, that knowledge on its own
Mhm.
wouldn't work. The practice, it just brings such a sense of contentment and a sense of joy into my life. And I guess enthusiasm and vibrancy, which then makes life just easy. I mean, like we said earlier, I have a full-time job. We have normal people responsibilities, but in between all of that, we managed to teach. At the moment, we're running at around 3 to 4 courses a month, different
Wow.
kinds of courses, happiness programs, advanced courses, meditation courses. And it just happens. I feel so blessed sometimes to in the world that we live, to not feel bogged down by the world, to not feel um, like it's all, everybody these days throws at you, "Oh, I'm so busy and I'm so tired." And it's become such a thing. I feel very, very lucky to live content and to live happy and to live with ease. And it's definitely due to the practices. And the practices are really simple. I mean, you do them.
Yeah.
Um, you take care of your career, your job, everything. It's very easy to fit in. I mean, we often use the example these days how much time you spend scrolling through Instagram. I think our breathing meditation practice in the morning, that it takes less time that
Yeah,
some people spend before they even get out of bed on social media.
absolutely.
And it's so energizing. Little bit, few minutes every day to go inward and drop the rest of the world and forget about it. And then to be able to come out and be dynamic.
Yes, the whole day is so fresh and, energetic. I mean, the
Mm,
first thing, it's important to do your sadhana like in the morning, kriya and meditation, very important. Also, it's also I see, I talk to a lot of people and I see a lot of stress. People are stressed out about very mundane things like Gurudev talked about many times. I've heard him say that, 75% of worries are nonsense. There's a research that was done, and he said that
mm,
even a little bit, whatever worries you have, you can get rid of them by doing these practices and be in the present moment, because these practices will bring us back to the present moment because you're connected to yourself. When you're not connected with yourself, of course, you're like, all over the place. You're all confused, right? So I definitely agree with what you
mm.
said, that these practices are very important for each and every person in the world. I tell this to everyone that you should definitely focus on it.
Definitely. I mean, even the way when I went to the course, I can comfortably say I was neither depressed nor anxious, nor I thought I was quite fine. But
Mhm.
there's levels of fine. And I
Yes.
think we have no idea how much potential we have, how much capacity we have, how really life doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be hard.
No, life is
Yeah,
beautiful. It's not hard. I think it's the mind that makes it be like, oh, this is hard. This is difficult. I don't know if I can do it. So I think if you train the mind like that, and through meditation and kriya, I see the big difference in my life from where I was to where I am now, 15 years
absolutely.
later. Absolutely. So
Hmm.
we know that you're very passionate about yoga, right? Tell us when you first, you were exposed to
So
yoga, and now I'm a Sri Sri yoga teacher as well.
you're also a Sri Sri Yoga teacher. Yeah.
So how would you just, yeah, go
Sri
ahead.
Sri Yoga to me, it's just, it is such a beautiful and authentic form of yoga. I think, I mean, 20 years ago, yoga was quite an out there thing. Now it's
Yeah.
very mainstream and everybody practices yoga, which is really beautiful. But I
Mm,
think very often also yoga has a tendency to become a form of exercise. And
mm,
people become very obsessed with the body in terms of, I need to be very flexible, I need to be very strong and fit, and you have to be a certain kind of person to be a yogi. So Sri Sri Yoga carries this authenticity with it, where the postures are not difficult. In fact, they're quite simple so that anybody can do them, but they have a depth to them. And
mm,
that depth puts you again in touch with yourself. Yeah? So Sri Sri Yoga is such as Hatha Yoga. It's combined with
mm.
the breathing, with some of the cleansing techniques. And that just makes it really, really beautiful. Even though my introduction to Art of Living was the Happiness Program or the Part 1 course, what it was called back then,
Uh-huh.
I first became a Sri Sri Yoga teacher before becoming Art of Living teacher.
Oh, okay.
And I think through teaching yoga, I really gained a lot of that confidence and the love for teaching was probably born through teaching yoga. And I still do. I now don't teach as many of the introductory yoga courses anymore, but I run a very beautiful Sri Sri Yoga Deep Dive retreat,
Oh, nice.
which again includes a lot of the cleanses, a lot of the shat kriyas. So it's a really, again, it's not difficult yoga, but deep, restful, and very, very good to prevent any kind of lifestyle related diseases, really.
Oh, very nice.
Mm,
Interesting. Yeah, yoga is very important. It's like in I was just telling someone at work, I said, I've been doing yoga for a long time. And she's like, yeah, I take yoga classes. And I go, I said, yeah, she was talking about postures. I said, yoga is not about postures. It's a mind, body, and breath combination, it's like
mm,
coming close to yourself, but I'm trying to, bring people to kind of experience the Sri Sri yoga and the sky breath. It's
mm. Often people think that yoga is what you do on a yoga mat.
yeah,
So I think we're very lucky in terms of art of living, how everything that Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar gives us in the teachings and the practices, it's very holistic.
It is, yes.
It really encompasses all the elements that give you that foundation of living a full and
Hmm.
fulfilled life.
Right.
And the
Absolutely.
service also becomes a big part of this, which is a natural progression out of it. Once you find something that brings you joy, you have no choice but to share that with other people.
Yes. Yes. It gives you more joy when you share and
Mm,
it really impacts the other person's life.
mm.
So how about like breath work meditation, how have they, come in your life? Like, do you feel they have brought creativity or made you more spontaneous, ready to face whatever comes your way? Seems like you're very like, like you can take any challenge because you're always smiling and have that energy in you.
I think what they have done, and it is the combination. It really is the combination of the breath work, um, the yoga for sure, and deep and proper meditation. That if I had to pick one word, I would probably say they've made me myself. They've made me natural. So much of my life, especially, I mean, I was young when I got into art of living, and especially in your youth, you a lot of the things you do, a lot of the way that you act and behave is because you want to fit in, because you want to portray a certain way of being. And that's very stressful, actually, now that I think about it. So to me, it brought a sense of being natural, being myself, being at ease with myself and the people around me. And it just makes everything lighter. Yes, it sparks for sure creativity. It sparks a sense of effortlessness in whatever you're doing. So I
Mhm.
find that we waste so much of time stressing about things before actually doing them. And now I can just do it.
Mm. Yeah, being
Yeah.
natural is very, very important. It's amazing. It's really amazing. It's the
Hmm.
opposite of having an ego, right? So being natural with everyone is not feeling that separation. So you be yourself.
And
That's
And
amazing.
that's our nature. I mean, look at
Yeah.
children. They do
Yeah.
it so comfortably. A child has no problem speaking to someone else.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, we live in a building with 19 stories, and which is nothing for New York. But but when you get in when you're in the lift and somebody gets in, they immediately pull out their phone and put it in front of their face and look down so that you are not possibly can't speak to them. I mean,
They avoid
that's not a
conversations.
way to
Yeah.
live.
Yeah.
Mm.
So how do
Yeah.
you deal with that if somebody does that in front of you? What do you just
It depends how uncomfortable they are. I mean, we don't want to cause turmoil, but generally, I make eye contact. I mean, if they're really deep into their phone, I leave them. But generally, if you make some eye contact and you put a little smile on, and then people have no choice but to relax as well. Because, and this is the whole thing also with the practice. I find that it makes you a nicer person. And if you're a nicer person, everybody around you will be nicer.
yeah.
If you're grumpy and you're frustrated, then
That's
that's what people will throw back at you. But if you feel content and you have a smile on your face, even if it is early in the morning, and generally there's a smile back.
it's the energy, the vibrations. For this is we
Mm,
talk more through our vibrations than our words, right? That's true.
absolutely. Yeah.
So with both you and Mukeshji as dynamic senior teachers for the foundation, we can imagine your commitment. We hear you both have been teaching every week, like you just also mentioned, maybe more, right? Like so.
I think it's because we've added such a bouquet of courses to what we're offering that we've been committed to teaching a happiness program once a month for the past since 2006, so that makes it 19 years,
Mhm.
every month. And then we teach the Sahaj Samadhi meditation course, which we alternate every month. Now we've got this deep sleep and anxiety workshop, which we're running like that. Then there's Shishi Yoga retreats. Kushop, of course, teaches the advanced silence retreat. So it's the different courses that start filling up our calendar beautifully. Yeah.
Right.
But there's nothing better, and there's enough time for everything. People often say, like, why do you do this? Why do you do this and you don't get paid for it? And how do you still have time to do anything else? But you know what? We never feel like we don't have enough time.
No, absolutely. I've heard that before, and I agree with that 100%. Feel more energetic. Like I said, you feel great when you see people transforming, from when before they started the course and after they done the course. Yeah.
Hmm.
Were you involved with the WCF in DC, World Culture Festival? Can you share
I
anything about?
actually did not go. No, I was at the first at the other three, but I did not make it all the way there. But it just looked like what an event and
Yeah.
what participation from all around the world. Yeah.
So has you and Mukeshi being on this journey together helped you grow in your relationship, like more, with teaching and also having a same spiritual path? Did it kind of,
I think I'm very lucky.
yeah,
I mean, it's probably something that, yeah, I actually don't have the words for it. I mean, we are really, really lucky to have not just the same interests, but also the same intention at heart.
right.
We do most things together. We don't have separate hobbies or anything like that. Um, but we've really grown through the depth of the practices, of course,
Right.
and the courses we attended, the people we meet, um, the knowledge we learn and study together. And our own relationship just is so uncomplicated.
Perfect.
I
That's amazing.
think that's
Mhm.
really it's like, I mean, I don't want to say we never fight, but
No, I understand.
if I sometimes hear people will use words like, "Yeah, but marriage is hard." And I'm like, but we've been married for 23 years, and I've never felt that I had to work hard on my marriage. So there's
Right.
obviously something that fulfills us and something that we do together instead of just solemnly being focused on each other, which I think is sometimes the problem, that people become very
Yeah.
just onto the partner and it becomes stifling, it becomes suffocating. So we kind of out there doing a lot of things, but we're doing them together and we're growing together. And obviously, two people in the house doing Kriya and doing sadhana, it's got
Yes,
to
it's
make for easy living.
absolutely. Absolutely. That's amazing.
Hmm.
So, see, another aspect of this channel, Blessed Channel, is music, and specifically, bhajans or anything. I'm not a professional singer or anything, but very passionate about singing bhajans in
Oh.
satsang. We have heard about incredible satsangs in South Africa. I can feel the beat of African drums. Tell us more about like how the community comes together. Um,
Satsang to me, it's a vital part of the practice. We find generally that people are a little bit more inclined to meditate than to come together and sing. I think especially in a Western environment where people feel like they have to be able to sing in order to sing. But like Gurudev says so beautifully, birds don't wonder if their tweet sounds nice. They just
yeah,
sing. Yeah. So it has slowly grown, and it's definitely something that just takes your practice to the next level. Um, yeah, even I've seen it in myself. Just meditating is one thing, but when you really incorporate satsang, and it becomes very soothing, especially living in the world we live in. Yeah. So I wouldn't say that our satsangs are really big gatherings or events, but they've certainly grown over the years. And it's a beautiful way for people to come together in a very positive, in a light way, and put a bunch of minds together and just celebrate from the heart and
yeah,
share.
yeah. Celebrate from the heart. Yeah, very
Mm.
true. So, would you like to close with any other thoughts to share for the viewers who are watching this? We're going to be
I
watching
just
you.
think that this channel, I mean, it's such an incredible initiative and such a great way to share because so many of us have had so many wonderful experiences. Yeah, whether that is through meditation or through sharing. I think sharing is really, really important. And again, that's probably one of the main things that this channel can do is bring people together to share, to grow together, to learn from each other. Um, because that's how we're going to make this world a better place. Yeah,
Beautiful. That's really
yeah.
beautiful. Thank you for sharing. It's truly touching, whatever you just said. It makes sense. It has been so
Mm.
energizing talking with you. You know, thank you for
Thank you,
all
Pooja.
that.
It's been so
Yeah.
lovely.
Thank you for all that you and Mukesh do for the organization and for spending time with us today. That brings us to the end of today's show. Thank you so much for being with us and for sharing your time and presence. On behalf of
Oh,
the
thank you.
yeah, we send you love, light, and deep gratitude. Until next time, stay inspired, stay connected, and have a truly blessed day.